Did he move? Or did he just lay there?
After about half a dozen shots, he moved out.
They're good bug killers.
Already.
1 minute till. I finally got it working.
You got to warn us, Kirsten.
You want me to count us down?
Oh.
I emailed that out to everybody. I had
didn't
emailed
see
it when
it.
it first came in. Because I knew I wouldn't see y'all in time.
Oh, I wasn't going to be here. That's what it was. I knew I wouldn't be here.
I see y'all. It's really
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
okay.
How do I know you?
You're probably
How'd you know
trick-or-treating
it was
at your
a
house.
Oh, you want a scout?
I was a scout.
There you go.
Takes one to know one.
You ready?
19 Delta, J3.
Second AC.
I was.
The time is now 6 p.m. and we will call this meeting to order.
Who's taking Trish's place?
The mayor.
Okay.
I ask everybody to bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of this community. I also ask that you look over our city staff, our council, our families, and our surrounding. Please also look over everybody in this path of this storm. Get Trish home safe for us, and look out for everybody to the east of us as it heads that way. I also pray for your guidance in 2024 as this is New Year. We all look up to you, and we respect your decisions you help us with. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. So don't rush me.
Rushed you.
I wanted to add to it. Let the record reflect all council members are here other than our city attorney. That's a first. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Approval of minutes from regular meeting held December 11, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a third.
All of it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect the motion carries.
That's true. Do a vote there.
Okay, let's move to discussion and action items. Discussion and action item A, discussion on-site inspection and possible action regarding the City of Richwood Service Center and PK Forest Building.
Will you read that so it's for the recording?
What's that?
This
This-
bottom part.
Oh, the City Council will travel to 720 North Mahan to inspect the service.
I can take 6 more, plus myself. So
yeah.
7.
Going to the,
We're talking about PK Forest, I don't know, it's up to you, Eric, I think it might be more beneficial to start there, so we can explain the room, what we have.
Perfect.
What we need, and then.
How's that weather looking right now?
it's
Everybody's
weathery.
safety.
It's weathery.
I think it's okay.
Not raining.
That's what we're gonna try to beat this.
5 or something.
Yeah, oh, okay.
That's how they come up with every model on each one. Okay. He liked the pavilion too much. And I guess
We have the actual in million gallons per day. So the plant itself is a 4 million gallon per day plant. We are allotted up to 1 million gallons per day to percentages at the wastewater treatment plant and used against us. And we try to keep that under 25% of all plant capacity, just basically to do our due diligence, stay away from any legal proceedings that go in. I plays a big part of the plant's daily capacity. We do see spikes when we have a clue, but we do spike a little higher. Up to 25 to 20, that percentage would stay fairly consistent across the board. So as of right now, plant capacity, the December 23 report for you guys that came from the sewer plant, and this is where we busted our 2-hour peak. This is, I'd say, not a common occurrence, but more common than what we'd like to see. And I did also include that definition on the memorandum to the treatment units under any operational condition, including periods of rainfall. So it's including your I&I.
So do these numbers that they use against us, do they capture the month as a whole? Or they're just looking for any event where they can?
Very clear with council that's with CJ Snipes, but they're not there forever.
Sure.
So that's 1 million gallons per day.
Per
so
day.
We're allowed,
Okay.
if we systematically go over 1 million gallons per day, it could be an issue. Clue, same thing.
Okay.
And if the party that consistently does that could be solely responsible for the expansions of the plant that are required to accommodate that additional capacity.
I have a quick question, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So basically, from the technology of the smart meters we have on the houses, how much water we're providing,
Yes, sir.
and then you know how much is getting metered, so you should know how much leakage we're getting
We do.
from that. Okay, so we do.
Live it every day, so we know what lift stations serve what areas of town, and we know when the lift stations come up, we can obviously tell overview, you know, what areas are more affected by I&I. The thing in Richwood, it's almost all areas. So that doesn't mean all neighborhoods, but almost all areas or all lift stations.
You know how much of it is leakage? You know,
I can
Do we have
tell-
crossover connections too for, all right,
It could, when we get on average a 2-inch rainfall, we generally pump anywhere between about 290 and 350,000 gallons a day. On a 2-inch rainfall, we exceed about 2.5 million gallons in that same day. Conversation. I wanted to kind of bring it up and allow you guys to ask questions, but that was one of the conversations at the wastewater treatment plant. And we're talking about capacities here. You know, the first thing we need to look at is the city's collection that we send to the wastewater treatment plant to be processed. A portion of it is regular use. There are rain events. Far larger portion is due to I&I. But as of now, we are running at about 50% to 60% capacity on any given normal day. But at 85% your capacity to serve. Wastewater, you have to start at 75%. So we do have some room for growth, but
Has the city of Clute began proposals for expansion on their part, or suggested expansion at this point?
no, and that's going to lead me into the next part of the conversation because, and I'm afraid that that's not going to be, it's going to be more of a finger pointing session than
Okay.
anything. So as of right now, for capacity, with regards to capacity, there's no need to plan to expand the plant.
Okay,
So as of right now, we're doing fine. The longer we go, and due to the language of the contractual agreement, it doesn't matter, regardless of any population growth. That's our allotted capacity for the plant. Doesn't matter how much we expand, this is what we're allowed up to and that's it. So I think more in the future, it's gonna come down to who's putting more in at the time. So in the study that Freeze and Nichols did for us, they proposed wastewater treatment plant for the city of Richwood, which is on this one here. It's gonna be about halfway down that sheet, coming in at about 13.2 million. Now, that proposal is the entire plant itself. There's a lot of factors when it comes to the future of wastewater in Richwood. One, we can't grow anymore. That's going to add to our sewer systems. Oakwood Shores is on septic, and we are limited to really growing any more within the city for the exception of the 1,000 acres across the street.
that would be septic as well.
Probably,
It would depend on the
probably
developer.
not. And I was guess what I was gonna have you pull up maps for real quick if you could.
Got it.
That's kind of why I brought it up, and my concern was, I mean, there's 1,000 acres over there. And if you think what's marching south from Houston is not gonna come knocking on our door sooner or later, and, it's just a matter of time.
Can you give me that satellite
Now, I'm not saying we go out and spend all kinds of money, because
Which
the
one, this
idea is
one,
that
the
when
layout?
developers come in, that you make them pay for it.
That way?
Well, that'd be
but-
fine.
But at the same time, I want to be prepared and not,
If you could, pull it, no, other way, I'm sorry. Pull it.
Sorry.
Looking for College Drive.
Oh, okay. I went
right
too
there,
far.
where's the creek?
Right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially, this area over here being this 1,000 acres is what can be developed. People coming in, the city of Richwood doesn't have the pockets deep enough to provide wastewater infrastructure, processing infrastructure, something that big. So somebody coming in is gonna have to provide a package plan, in my opinion, unless you guys wanna foot the bill, I seriously doubt it. So a package plant here would be a certain amount of capacity expected.
And where would that outflow go? Oyster Creek?
In the capital improvements plan, the basic plan they made was that you have a lift station right here, it's your main lift station goes out of town. So this goes through Clute, hits the lift station down here by the railroad tracks and off to the plant. Their proposal was to take that line, turn it, straight out to Oyster Creek. And that's where your plant would be located. So if you were to do a new plant, there's several different ways that it could go. If that ever came under development, a partnership with that developer in the city, coming in to build the plant, but also the state of Richwood's ownership in the current plant would be sold back to Clute, and part of that revenue would fund part of this here.
I'm just pointing that out because, that would be a permitting issue, right? Just like the
Okay.
permit that they're
Yeah.
looking for up on Bastrop Bio for that unit, and that's probably a lot smaller, right? The one going into Bastrop?
Yeah, I think that was 200 and something thousand gallons a day. We're talking, this would be 1 MGD, million gallon per day plant.
At least, right?
At least, yeah. So that's probably Well, with our current I&I situation, that's probably undersized. You would probably want to look at twice that.
I'm all for septics in this case.
Either
I
way,
hate dumping anything into those waterways.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just pointing it out because
Anything.
if we ever go that way, it's gonna be,
It'd be a huge.
it's gonna be an emotional event, right?
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But, you know, that's, if you think about that and your standpoint, I appreciate it, Michael, with people coming down south, if somebody has deep enough pockets to develop that, you know, are there gonna be people that are gonna wanna be on septic, or they're moving down a little bit away from Houston to still receive city amenities
And Lake Jackson tried this, what, like 2 years ago, north of Lake Road and 288, that prison farm area. They had a developer come in, and it was, you know, it had to be concrete roads, a wastewater treatment plant, I mean, everything, and I think the developer finally just pulled out and was like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
We're
and-
good. I
And
mean,
we've had several inquiries about this property. One point in time, somebody's gonna come along with deep enough pockets, it's gonna happen. I don't know, it's gonna
Well,
be
they don't
5
make
years,
any
10
more
years.
land.
but there's also like public improvement districts, like like Angleton has a lot of PIDs.
Absolutely.
And then municipal, there's MUDs, you know, I don't think we even have a MUD down here. I think there's one MUD in Brazoria County. But there's the ability to do MUDs to where, you know, they're paying for it, the residents of that community.
Yeah,
So there's options on the table.
there is, there is.
When was the last time, like that 25% and all that with, that we have with
Be
Woods
up to
was updated? Because they've done a lot, like, you know,
council.
expanding
Everything's technically zone
and
residential and
behind
it's all-
Kroger and all that area, so they have a lot more, probably,
Yeah, that's
going
they-
on, so I mean-
They've added quite a bit more, than what we have, but still, we have the
That hasn't
overall
affected us,
numbers. And they're, you know,
they're
they're,
still within.
they're over 3/4, 75% of the plant capacity, but they're still not near the 3 MGD that they're allotted. So, yeah, it's an in-depth conversation, but currently, as we sit,
And we're doing okay with it as far as repairs and all that. 'Cause my main concern with it and everything that you brought up is Freeport, went through, is still going through it, you know, they had a major, one of the walls caved in or whatever, and they ended up getting like a grant, but then the cost was triple what the grant was and all that stuff, so I just wanted to make sure us here are not gonna get caught later down the road, so.
So with
you know.
regards to the condition of the plant itself, the plant is almost brand new. So you have your concrete infrastructure, your clarifier, stuff like that, but your belt press, lift station pumps, fine bubble diffusers, all of that is less than 15 years old. I mean, they were very diligent and almost built a brand new wastewater treatment plant within the past 15 years. And we got a good plan. It's just, we test it, and we test it hard when it rains.
So I think that's Cliff's nice way of saying our money would be well spent to continue down the path of I&I
Right.
reduction, because if we save, you know, several 100,000 gallons, that's a day for us.
And in regards to basically, I saw the email today, Mike, talking about, you know, weren't we going to scope some of these areas and make it clear to council, trying to make it as palatable as I can. We have $10,000 to spend on that. And my intention for that money was to scope a section of line to provide council with updated pricing of what it would cost to replace a given section of line. So we can start making more educated decisions on how much we can do. But ultimately, to view the whole city, and it's part of this, it was actually mentioned in 18, I think, sanitary sewer evaluation study. It was $136,000 back then. I think it's probably $500,000 now. I'm just shooting from the hip. But that would be to look at the entire city. But as of now, I have the funds to essentially show council, you know, what it would cost to do this. And that's what we're trying to achieve right now.
I'll tell you one thing I've learned in life is there's a million things in this world that don't matter, only a few that do. And water and sewer is one of those few. Coming from, I always brag about how good Richwood's water is, specifically in regards to where I came from. Where I came from, the water was toxic. I'm pretty certain the reason I had to get skin cancer cut off my back was because of that water. My wife ended up getting psoriasis, and when she stopped bathing in it, it went away. So it's very, very important. Now with this particular place, it has water pressure. You can wash your patio off with it. You can flush it down the toilet, but as far as sewer, the water goes down the toilet to a manhole, overflows the manhole, and runs into the ditch.
It's possible.
That's the sewer.
Yeah.
And, in a situation like this, I've got to remember, what got that place into that situation? And how do we not be in that situation in the future?
That's what I'm working on.
I definitely see the importance of water and sewer. I think out of respect for our neighbors and our business partners, we need to be doing everything that we can to keep that I&I down, and that may bring our percentage to a reasonable level. And I appreciate you doing that every day. Like you said, that's something you deal with. That's pretty serious. If we can, I think that what Mike is saying is that we may have a lot of hurdles to get a sewer treatment plant there, so we definitely need to take care of this relationship. And if it's one thing that we can do is to keep rainwater from flowing into the sewer as much as possible. I know that it's probably not going to be 100%, and I don't think anybody expects that, but as a neighbor, if we go to them and we say, hey, look, we're doing everything that we can, that starts the conversation off a lot better, just to say. But yeah, so definitely an important topic you're talking about, and I appreciate that, bringing it to our attention. And I don't think we're in a position right now to say, yeah, go spend $30 million. It would be malfeasance without all that information.
Well, and I know that absolutely, and that's why the $10,000 is budgeted. Just so I can at least provide council with preliminary information, just base level information of what long-term goals will look like, broken out into smaller bites. 1,000 feet worth of line, 2,000 feet worth of line. And then we can start making educated decisions based off the money we have, money we want to borrow, whatever that might be.
Well, I think it's an important conversation for us to narrow it down to what is important. We make a lot of decisions here. There's a lot of things to look at. And like I said, there's some things that may not be that important, but some things that are. I think about this city that I was living in. I'm not going to name it, but it's not a third world country. This is somewhere in Missouri County.
Yeah.
Sewer runs down the street.
It's a benefit. It's not a right.
And you look at it and you go, what were we paying for all these years? I mean, I think that they're probably really close to just going in and saying, let's just get rid of all of them. Why? So I just don't want to be that council member that's in that position in a few years or 10 years or whatever that says, hey, we did not take care of it. I'm sorry, we spent it on something else that wasn't that important. So thank you again for bringing it to our attention.
Yes, sir. So that's basically my presentation on the plant. Wastewater treatment plant, I think we're doing okay. I just think we need to stay diligent on the issues that we have here within our collection system. And I presented this as a city infrastructure wastewater treatment plant capacity. I just want to put in a note, we'll bring back elevated storage and look at it within the next year or two. The development of Oakwood Shores is going to be our 85th percentile to serve. So we're going to be at the point of where we have to require planning. But when we get to that situation, if you're planning for it, what are you doing? Let's do it. It's done. It's already done. It needs to be there. If you have to plan for it, so.
The study that you're going to do, which will help you determine I&I plans, will that also give you a reduction percentage for what we're sending to the plant? Or an estimated reduction?
No, I think, unfortunately, Amanda, I think that we won't get into that till we start looking at sections of collection line 15, 20, 25, 35% of the city.
Okay.
What I'm doing now and what council's afforded me to be able to do is just to tell you what it's gonna cost these days. Because I can almost guarantee you it's 4 times what it was 3 years ago.
And we may not have better options. You know, there's this, what was it called? Decentralized wastewater. You know, I saw one up 288, one of these new developments up there actually put one in. And, you know, as the years go by, we may have better options, better, more affordable, quicker options.
I think that's a package plant he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. But I think regardless, when it comes to I think council's facing a large-scale study somewhere down the road. I don't think I'm ready I'm ready for it, but I don't think our financial position is going to allow us the funds to be able to do something like that as of now. That's why I want to get you at least these baseline numbers, and then we can start these talks about what it's truly going to cost to replace 15% of the collection lines, 25% of the collection lines.
When we do the budget talks coming up, part of that is talking about realigning some of our debt that's going offline this year. We've got some debt that's being paid off, and a very wise thing to do would be to take those payments that we're paying now, and since you're already paying it, we're already budgeting for it, is to continue self-payment with that and put that right into I&I. But those are talks we'll bring back as part of the budget discussion.
Okay.
That's all I have, unless council has any more questions.
You were the most expensive debt in Richwood.
That's Juan, it's not me.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next item is C. Discuss and consider ordinance 24-514, calling the May 4th, 2024 general election and approving a joint election agreement with Brazoria County.
So this is the same ordinance we call every year, just allowing me to give the county the green light that we are going to hold an election this year. Positions 1, 4, and 5 are up.
We have to
Make
read
a
the whole.
motion to approve ordinance 24-514, calling the May 4th, 2024 general election and approving a joint election agreement with Brazoria County.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the records reflect the motion carries. Back to that talk real quick. There's only one council member that terms out on this? Okay, that's position 1? Okay. I didn't know if the public knew that or...
I'm going to bring it up in community interest too.
Okay. Items removed from, item D, consider items removed from consent agenda. There was none. Moved back on the Cliff, huh? Capital improvements projects. Got the spotlight again?
Speaker of the House. So the North Water Plant walkthrough was completed, including that in the weekly report. A couple of punch list items, but nothing crazy. So everything's for the most part is done. We'll the next couple of weeks. The O&M manuals have been reviewed by Strand, have been approved. We should be receiving 2 hard copies of those manuals here within the next week or so. We've already received a digital copy of them, and we have it saved. Those O&M manuals are what we're going to use to assist us in building any standard operating procedures or protocols we need to do as part of the condition that we did not put a fire suppression system in the chlorine room. So there are some requirements there we'll be working on over the next couple of weeks to get that in place as well. Let's see, emergency generators and South Water Plant booster pumping station. They have all the shop submittals, have been returned to the contractor. Everything's approved. Scheduled mobilization is going to be within the next week or 2. So they're just waiting for the contractor to provide the updated construction schedule, and they'll get started at the South Water Plant. The generators, we've got the bid opening. We're already in the first round of advertising. Bid opening will be scheduled for the 25th, and the result of that bid opening, the contractors will be brought and presented to council at the February meeting for us to award that. I will not be here. One will be here in my stead for the opening. It's nothing crazy. We just document it as well as Strand does. They review all the bids to make sure they're good and then send them back. MIPMOD, nothing has changed there. 90% design is done. We're just waiting on GLO for the final notice to proceed, and then we'll start getting it done. The GIS mapping that council approved, the task order was signed this week. They'll be working on it, and hopefully, I did not have a time, hopefully within a couple of months, maybe by spring, we'll have that, all the shape files in place, and do the final thing with ARC mapping where we set up our accounts and start using it by summer. Streets in Oakwood Shores are all but done. I think they're doing the last bit of asphalt. I don't know if they got out there today. I didn't have time to go check. You can see them, Roy?
I don't think so.
But I think they did do the second round of asphalt over the majority of the streets, if I'm not mistaken. I know the mailbox area and the entrance is still left to be done. But I don't think the plant is shut down anymore, but they have not told me about any other delays, so I would expect it to be done probably this week or first part of next week. If anything changes, I'll let council know. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. You don't want to speak any longer?
Yeah. Getting dry.
Next is city manager report. Eric?
Mayor Council, I have nothing to add. I've been on vacation, and today's the first day back, so not much
Welcome
to report. Glad to be back.
Vacation was good?
Yeah, fantastic.
Very nice. Councilmember Johnson, do you have anything to add to our meeting today?
Just glad the holidays are over, everybody's back together and we can move on and do some business for the city.
Councilmember Challenger, anything to add?
It's a new year, so probably wouldn't be a bad idea to say, I'd like to, think about what we can do better in this 2024. I think I'd like to see, us working better as a team. Not saying we're horrible. I'm just saying, there's always room for improvement.
Of course.
And I look forward to it. So.
I do too. Councilmember Reynolds?
I don't have anything to add today.
You're awfully quiet tonight. Councilmember Escalante?
Nothing to add. New year, happy New Year, and look forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Fountain?
Nothing to add this week. Pretty good. So. Not much going on.
Awfully quiet. Y'all had a lot of time to think.
Holiday jet lag.
Yes.
Holiday bill.
Well, the only thing I can really add is I hope that everybody's safe with these storms that keep coming through. We got a pretty bad round coming later this week. Hope that everybody's infrastructures at their homes are up to date or can be prepped as best as possible. I hope that everybody's safe. I know last Friday we had a tornado warning or watch. I don't want to hear any of our residents injured, so I pray for all of our fine employees and all of our families. And I hope that February will be a nice, easy meeting as well, and I look forward to it. So that's all I really have. And Happy New Year, everybody. Next is items of community interest.
The city is currently accepting Christmas trees to take to Surfside for the dune rebuild. We do this every year. It's going to be for real trees only that are not flocked and with no decorations. Residents can bring them to the back of City Hall by the dumpster. There's a little pile growing, and council or after the 18th. So the 18th is our deadline of this month to get your trees dropped off.
The 20th is the day that they'll place the tree. I helped with the event last year. It's a really cool thing. They tie them together with, I guess, earth-friendly twine, like nose to tail, all the way down the dune line. And they dedicate a certain section. Last year it was Fallett's Island. I don't know if it'll be the same place this year or not, but it's pretty cool. It's cold and wet, but it's fun. So if you have a chance to join, I'm sure Michelle Booth, she runs Keep Surfside Beautiful, I believe, but she does a lot for their community, and she's awesome to work with.
Also, elections are upon us. We just passed the ordinance to call for the election. Positions 1, 4, and 5 are available to run for. Like Mayor was saying, Councilman John termed out, so he has to leave us at least for 1 year and he can come back. So that position for sure will have a new face in it. I accept applications beginning January 17th at 8 a.m. all the way through February 16th, 5 p.m. Packets, I'll have binders available for any interested parties to come pick up at City Hall. It has A to Z what you need to know about running for City Council. It's also going to be available on our website. You just print it out. It's the same thing that's in the packet. You can print just the forms you need to submit and then submit them here at the front desk. That will bring me into, I am always accepting applications for committees. I have lots of openings on Keep Richwood Beautiful. We're down to 4. 3 that can consistently show up for a meeting on time. So if anybody wants to be involved in the beautification committee, we are desperately looking for help. Also, planning and zoning, I have not had enough interest to fill that whole board. So if anyone wants to do that, that's an as-needed position. So it's not a monthly meeting you have to dedicate yourself to, but it would be, I would say, 4 or 5 meetings a year, maybe. And that's it. We will do charter review this year, but that's not until October. I will blast that. Probably August, September.
Did y'all hire somebody already, or y'all still
No,
accepting it?
not yet. We are interviewing.
Oh.
Yes. Lots of applications, but yes. So that's all the community things I have. If anybody else has anything else, shout it out.
So Mike, since you're position 1, I guess you're going to just swap seats and go to 5 or 4. Rory's going to come over there. And
I got to sit out of here.
He's got to go to 2, 3, or
just for
the
that
middle.
seat,
No, he's got to be out of here.
get a different viewpoint.
Oh, I'll probably get on KRB.
Oh,
But I'm going to wait till then.
we would love to have you on KRB.
Good. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Leslie,
That's all I got. I got a lot today, but that's it.
Thank you very much. Do we have any future agenda items to add?
Yes, sir. We will be having some personnel policy to bring, having to do with the insurance stuff. We need to change some policy to affect that, and a couple other personnel policies we'll be bringing. Also, send an email this afternoon, special meeting next Tuesday at 6 p.m. executive session over the insurance stuff. Spoke with Rory already. He's not going to be here for that, but I think everybody else can make it, so we're good to go on that. That's all I've got right now, but I'm sure more will be added.
The details for we'll bring the details for the
Yes.
community building council requested.
Okay. Or are you sure you don't want to be a part of that? Rory?
What's that?
You don't want to
Oh,
stay
you want a
home?
different date?
And I mean, we can always move it to accommodate you if you like.
I mean, I'm going to be out of town. I'm leaving that afternoon.
No, I'm saying like the
16th.
following week if you'd like, or
The executive session?
would y'all,
I mean, we could do executive session. Could we do it?
the following month?
I think it's the 13th of February is our next council meeting.
The 12th.
12th?
Would it,
Yeah, we could put it on there if y'all want to wait.
would it
wait
wait
till
We were just trying to
Is
bring
it a decision that needs to be made,
No.
or is this just information, kind of a
Well-
recap
Well, a little
of
of
our
both.
last?
A little of both. It probably
Okay.
needs to happen sooner or later. I've already got with Rory, sent him the information, and if he has any questions or anything he wants to forward back, I can bring it to the meeting as well. I don't want to leave any council members out of this.
okay. I do appreciate that. I like all of them there too, so.
Yeah. What about
the next week. Are
the
you available?
following week?
The 22nd.
Let's see.
I'd be okay with the next
The next week?
meeting.
Yeah, the
Scheduled
22nd.
meeting,
Oh, okay.
Doing it then. I think
Sounded
so.
like
I don't
there's
think
a
it can wait
time
that
issue.
long.
They
No,
want a
we
decision
probably need to do
before
this
then.
sooner than later. Everybody good with the
The
following?
22nd?
The 22nd is the following Tuesday?
Or
The
Monday.
23rd is a Tuesday.
I'm sorry, Monday?
Monday the 22nd?
Monday the 22nd?
We had said
Can we
that-
do Tuesday?
I'm good
That's
with
fine with
Tuesday.
He's good with Tuesday?
I get back from a cruise on the 22nd, and just in case there's like a delay, I don't want
No
to
invite.
be
That's cool.
flying over here.
We all could have went.
So everybody
That means
good
I
for
would have to go to take minutes.
Why don't we just have it on the cruise?
Yeah, I know. We
Yeah.
just had this on the cruise.
6 PM on the 22nd, then executive
23rd.
session?
23rd.
23rd, I'm sorry,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes.
I'll
we can do it.
email Philip. But I
Okay.
believe unless there's a change with him, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to be difficult.
No
You're
problem.
Okay.
We did this Tuesday because Monday's a holiday.
That's right, because Monday was a
And
holiday.
that's why we had proposed Tuesday.
Next Monday is?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. MLK?
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
Okay. That's everything, everybody? The time being 7:25, an hour past our scheduled departure time, with no other business to discuss. This meeting is adjourned.